I think as I'm listening to all those songs that before this is all over, there should be some line dancing. You know, you took me back to the 80s and 90s. The mayor came in kind of strolling. So it's just that type of a day. So welcome to Franklin Park. So here are the rules about a travel rally event. Noise is good, especially when there's good news to share. We stay on topic. So we talk about tourism, we talk about the importance of tourism and travel, and that's it. And we celebrate the importance of this industry to our amazing city. It's good to be in Franklin Park, and you know, I've been in D.C. for over 21 years and kind of walking around and seeing what this park looks like now, thanks to the Downtown D.C. Business Improvement District and National Park Service. This is amazing. It's good to be out here today, right? So Rashawn Lamar, where is he? The guy in the red suit that I was almost going to wear, but I did not, because then you all would have confused us. So he started us out with amazing song. He's probably somewhere relaxing right now. A graduate of Duke Ellington. There you go. I love that. And I think a lot of you may know him from The Voice. And it's great to see him representing today in D.C. right here on the stage. DJ Q. Thanks, man, for all those amazing songs. Again, it was hard to keep still. My team is like, stop, you're going to start sweating. I'm like, it's okay. That's a good sign. So thanks for the extraordinary entertainment. The mascots that were here doing the line dances that are in the back, that are right, there you go, right behind you. See these? They're easy to spot. Thank you all for being here from Screech and Slapshot. Happy to have you all here. So for us, it's about celebrating the good news about travel. There were questions already. How are we doing? Are we back? The good news is that we are slowly but surely returning back to where we were pre-pandemic. Last year, D.C. welcomed a whopping 20.7 million domestic visitors, which is up 10%. There you go. I want a little bit more noise than that, but all right, maybe you guys get a little, there you go. That's a good sign. And why is that good? It means $8.1 billion in spend in Washington. So for us, recovery is underway. So as we talk about those numbers, those are just domestic travelers. International numbers, we'll give those to you later as we talk about our Marketing Outlook meeting in August. The good news for us is that as we're focusing on recovery, the mayor and city council has been very helpful to us in terms of giving us additional dollars so that we can be competitive. As a destination, you guys, I like that, but there's more positive to come. You guys have us. We're responsible for promoting D.C. as a destination. Other cities have larger budgets and state organizations that focus on tourism. So with the Tourism Recovery District, which all of you know about, right? There you go. That will give us the wherewithal to do more marketing domestically and internationally, which is important to us. So thanks to the Mayor Bowser. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for that. And, of course, to all of the city administrators that make that happen. And the Hotel Association. Solomon Keene is normally here. He's in a board meeting with Events DC this morning, and it's not here. But for us, $20 million additional dollars prospectively from the Tourism Recovery District means we have more money to promote our destination. And as we look at competition, every city will, you know, as Jeff Freeman gets up here, he'll tell you that every city globally is doing the exact same thing, trying to get more additional market share. So I mentioned that today is all about celebrating. And as we're celebrating, we do have an opportunity to hear from our mayor. You know, you all hear me say all the time that people think I'm the biggest cheerleader of Washington. And when the mayor's not in the crowd, I'm like, absolutely I am. But since she's here, she is the #1 cheerleader for Washington. She's not only responsible for focusing on the number of jobs that are created for this industry, through this industry, but also the economic impact. And as we look at the impact of government and all the other things that are important to the city, the $8.1 billion that's being held up right there is tied to the level of support that we get from our city. The fact that the mayor gave us $3 million last year or this year and $5 million the year before as we looked at recovery. That's a big deal for Washington as we look at as we look at our city coming back online. So I always say the mayor gets us. She understands who we are. She understands this industry. So No matter what little amount of noise you made for me when I came to the stage, I want you to elevate that noise as we welcome Mayor Bowser to the stage.
Well, good morning, D.C. Let's give Elliot a rousing round of applause, along with Destination D.C. and the hospitality partners of D.C. Give them another big round of applause. I am thrilled to be here today in downtown Washington, D.C. in beautiful Franklin Park. And I want to say thank you to our partners at the Downtown D.C. Business Improvement District. Thank you, Jaron, and your team for all of the great work you do to keep this, our Central Park, beautiful and activated in supporting our downtown community. We know that tourism is fun, and we, of course, love having visitors to our city, but it is also a critical part of the D.C. economy. It's how people get jobs, to raise their families, to buy homes, and live the American dream. It's how we invest in schools, in public safety, and transportation. And so that's why the recovery of tourism is so key to the district's overall comeback. And when I walk around the city and see so many buses filled with people coming to visit Washington, D.C., I feel so proud and so happy. And when we go into our hotels and restaurants and see them steaming with people, we know that our city is indeed recovering. It's also important that people can come back to work in our city. People who work here in Washington, D.C., but also people who are coming to call on the Congress, to call on the White House, because they are a critical part of a functioning democracy that is efficient and productive. And I know that Washington, D.C. is going to do its part. So we know that 20.7 million people like to visit Washington, D.C. And you heard from Elliot, and we see it in the signs, that means $8.1 billion spent in our local businesses. It means more than 84,000 jobs for our city and $1.6 billion in tax revenues. So that's why I say, yes, tourism is fun and games and culture and museums, but it's also big business. And it's also how people grow their families and live the American dream. And we are always thinking about more ways to bring people to Washington. The thing that keeps us fresh when Elliot goes out all around the world talking about Washington, D.C., is we always want him to be talking about something new. Something that you can't get in other places, and something that is going to enhance your experience in D.C. Stay longer. Stay longer in our hotels. Go visit our neighborhoods. And we know that will make a complete visitation experience to our city. So I have something exciting to announce, something new. I am pleased to announce that we have an agreement with a new concept for Washington, D.C. with the Therme Group, which has health and wellness experiences results all over the world. And we have made an agreement for them to bring a facility to Washington, D.C. So I invite you to find out a little bit more. It's really like nothing we've experienced. Part spa, part water park, but all fun. These are sites that have something for everyone, residents, our residents, and visitors. The Therme experience will also create 7,200 construction jobs over a 2-year period and 700 permanent jobs. It will support local businesses as another world-class destination to add. So now when Elliot goes out, he's going to be talking again about something new, and it will be a new spa for Washington. Again, I don't have to tell everybody here how important it is to invest in our partnerships and how we grow. So I'm also proud to announce that this month we are making available $1.6 million in grants to our hospitality technical assistance and workforce development program. Our hospitality sector is key to bringing in people. And we want to make sure when we get them here that they have the best experience. And that starts with people welcoming them and taking care of them in Washington, D.C. We will start accepting applications on May 26th. We are also know that the Council of the District of Columbia is important in this comeback. That's why we're working very, very hard with them on programs and services that support our recovery, not work against our recovery. So we're going to stay focused on revitalizing, reimagining, and turning the K Street that we know today into the next generation for K Street with a modernized K Street Transit Way. We're also going to focus on bringing more festivals and activities where the district can be a sponsor. So we need to maintain our festival fund. And by no means should we be charging people an additional $2 to come to the downtown. So let's keep talking to our partners on the council about what's going to support a comeback and a recovery for all sectors of our city, but especially hospitality. And that is what this rally is all about. So to our partners, thank you. Keep the good ideas coming. And we're going to keep working hard for hospitality in D.C. Thank you, everybody.
All right, give it up for our mayor. So it's always good when we have new developments that are happening in the city, as the mayor shared with us, and you'll be able to hear from Therme in a few minutes. So, again, today is all about the celebration of our industry as a whole. As we focus on tourism, clearly we work closely with the mayor and her team and our 1,000 members, but there's a unique group of folks called the Hospitality Alliance. It's the Hotel Association led by Solomon Keene, the Events DC led by Angie Gates, and the new CEO of the Restaurant Association. I'm going to ask him to raise his hand. He's over here to the right, Mr. Sean Townsend, who plays a huge role in our restaurant scene in Washington. And stay tuned. We're going to have some really cool things to share with you in the future that are tied to events that are happening in Washington. So, economic development is what it's all about. The mayor referenced that. We love visitors. We love visitors that stay longer and spend more. There are studies, that tell us what is the impact of tourism for Washington, D.C. We know that Destination D.C. is not responsible for every single visitor coming to the city, but perhaps we can engage them in a way where they decide to stay longer than a day, going to a sporting event, a concert, or all the other cool things in which we have to offer in the city. What we also know is that for every dollar spent on promoting D.C. as a destination, there's a $3.08 return on investment tied to that spending. So as you look at our budget and the importance and impact of what we do, the reality for the city is that it creates more jobs and the economic impact is threefold, which is something to celebrate for Washington, right? Right? Now, that's not me in a back room, with a calculator or abacus trying to figure out what the impact is. This is an external organization that works with us, works with the CFO's office and others that give us that information as to how important Washington is. And for us, those dollars give us the opportunity to do more marketing. Right now, if you were to travel to Philadelphia and get off at 30th Street Station, which is their Amtrak station, you'll see Washington, D.C. all over the place, similar to the signs that you see that are being held up now. So we are in the business of taking over destinations and showcasing how amazing Washington is as a city. I love the fact that my counterpart that sells Philadelphia took a picture of himself in the 30th Street station and said, "I see what you guys are doing." And I'm like, yeah, that's how we roll in Washington. So that's part of the goal as we look at our efforts. Of course, Washington.org is our website. That's the portal that folks use to either choose to come to Washington and or find out how amazing we are as a destination. And we focus on not only the downtown area, which we love, but also the amazing neighborhoods and the scenes that we have to share with visitors. International visitation. We're going to be spending more money on promoting our destination internationally. Why? It's not that we don't love domestic visitors, but here's a fact. For every domestic visitor that is traveling, the economic impact is usually less than $400, which is good. But if you compare that to when a Chinese visitor comes to Washington, D.C., the economic impact is over $10,000. So I know that is a big deal. And that resonates with all international visitation. Only 7% of visitation to Washington is international, but over 36 or 27% of the spend is tied to those visitors. So though we're still down in terms of international visitation, especially from Asia, we're going to continue to focus our efforts on those markets. We have an office or representation in the UK, in India, where are we? We're in Australia, we're in China, and we're going to continue to focus our efforts also on Brazil as we reopen our office there and work on additional visitation. We do a lot of this in tandem with a lot of organizations that focus on marketing our destination, specifically Brand USA that's here today. Brand USA is focusing on what I do for Washington, D.C., Brand USA does for the U.S. as a whole internationally, and I have the pleasure of being on the board of Brand USA. Key markets for us right now remain Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and of course the UK. But the goal for us as we're looking at recovery is going after new markets. We do a lot of work with the U.S. Travel Association. As a matter of fact, this week is associated with what the U.S. Travel Association is doing around the United States promoting tourism. So I heard that slight yay that's over there in the corner, but you'll have a chance to celebrate a little bit more as we welcome Jeff Freeman, the new CEO of the U.S. Travel Association, to the stand to share a little bit more about what's happening in Washington. So a round of applause and lots of noise as we welcome Jeff Freeman.
Good morning and thank you. A big thank you to Elliot Ferguson and the whole Destination DC team. We couldn't have more support than we do from DDC, who does a remarkable job supporting travel into this market. I hope you'll also, though, join me. Elliot mentioned at the outset that next year he may wear that red suit, or he was supposed to wear it this year. How about a round of applause if you want him to wear that suit next year? I think we know what Elliot's wearing next year, and we appreciate that really leaning in like that. That's going to be look forward to by everybody. Also, a big thank you to Mayor Bowser. You know, one of the things she didn't mention, despite her support for travel, one of the things she didn't mention that's so important is encouraging the federal government to get back into the office, to really be back downtown, to ensure that D.C. can be as vibrant as it possibly can. We need those workers here. We need them in this community and in every community around the country. We need to strengthen these urban environments, and that support is so critical. So thank you for that. You know, the U.S. Travel Association exists for one thing. We're here to increase travel. We're here to increase travel around the United States, into the United States. That's our purpose. And one of the things that's so important when you want to increase travel is get the message across as to why this industry is so important, what we do at the community level. And that's why 40 years ago this week we launched National Travel and Tourism Week. So there are rallies this week taking place all around the country just like this to celebrate what this industry does. $2.6 trillion in economic activity, 15 million jobs, 85,000 of those jobs right here in D.C. That's what makes this industry special. Today, it's really being supported by leisure travel. There is strong leisure travel throughout this country. But we still have a lot of work to do to get back or exceed those 2019 levels when it comes to international travel into the United States, which right now is only about 65% of what it was in 2019. Or business travel coming to D.C., right now only about 75% of what it was in 2019. So we've got work to do. We've got to improve the air travel experience. We've got to get rid of visa wait times for international visitors. We've got to limit these customs wait times at Dulles and other airports around the country so our visitors can get downtown as quickly as possible and spend their money right here. And that's what U.S. Travel exists to do, to solve those problems. We do that this week. We do that with our Travel Works program, which goes around the country, highlighting the importance of travel in every community across this country. You've got our support at the U.S. Travel Association. We're grateful for DDC's support. We're certainly grateful for the mayor's support. And we want to thank all of you for being here to support National Travel and Tourism Week. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Always a pleasure to partner with U.S. Travel. And I'll make a deal. I'll wear my red suit when Jeff wears his red suit. So if he comes out here with a red suit, I will come out with one as well. So I guarantee you that will not happen. We're happy that Jeff's in this role, he and his team. Where are the U.S. Travel Association folks? Make some noise. They're the ones with the flags in the back. Again, this is their week. We're just one of the destinations that are a part of it. They're on the Hill focusing on issues that are really important to our industry, as you just heard Jeff say, things in which we, I love politics-ish, Madam Mayor and others, but I want to market our destination. I want the U.S. Travel Association to focus on things that are important to us as a destination. We also have the pleasure of working with the Department of Commerce. That's the beauty of being in D.C. There is a organization or a group within the U.S. Travel Association, within U.S. Department of Commerce, Travel Tourism Advisory Board, that I've had the pleasure of sitting on in the past. Whereas we talk to Commerce, the secretaries, about things that are important to us as an industry. How do we make sure that getting into the United States is easier? How do we eliminate or reduce the wait times going through customs? How do we make the process a lot more user-friendly, because they're the first individuals that folks see when they come into to our destination. So it's always been a pleasure to serve in that capacity, now on the board of Brand USA, which of course was created by U.S. Travel Association and plays a huge role and works with the Department of Commerce. Brian Bell, who I've known for a long time, fresh off of his stint with the Cruise Line Industry Association, is in his 4th day with the Department of Commerce. So, though he's not wearing red because he didn't get the memo, that's what happens when you're in day 4. We welcome him to his new role, currently acting Deputy Assistant Secretary for Travel and Tourism within the Department of Commerce, but a huge proponent of our industry and our market. So Brian is going to come up and address you all. So a round of applause for Brian.
Good morning. So great to be here with all of you. And yes, as Elliot said, it is day 4. So pleased to be back and so happy to be here this morning with all of you. And it really is an honor to be representing the Department of Commerce, along with Mayor Bowser, Elliot, our other speakers this morning, and all of you, our closest friends from across the travel and tourism industry. Thank you so much for the invitation to join this fantastic group with Destination DC, with all of you, and also celebrate the 40th anniversary of National Travel and Tourism Week. I cannot think of a more important time for us to come together to highlight the value of travel and tourism to our economy, our businesses, and our communities. And I cannot think of a more appropriate place to celebrate National Travel and Tourism Week than in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, and as Elliot and the mayor noted, a top travel destination for domestic and international visitors. And today and this week, we are all demonstrating how integral travel and tourism is to every industry and everything we do. The travel and tourism industry plays a vital role in driving economic growth, creating jobs, and supporting communities across the country. And our recovery is the nation's recovery, and travel and tourism is essential to future growth and livelihoods. Travel and tourism, as many of you know, is a critical driver of growth and employment in the United States, accounting for 3% of U.S. gross domestic product in 2019 and supporting nearly 10 million American jobs. With $2 trillion in economic activity, approximately 1 in every 20 jobs in the United States relies directly or indirectly on travel and tourism. And travel and tourism remains an engine of prosperity and opportunity for many Americans across the country. All 50 states, the District of Columbia, and U.S. territories benefit directly and indirectly from travel and tourism. And we can all certainly agree that COVID-related declines were unprecedented. But fortunately, we are seeing a path to recovery as the world begins to put the pandemic in the rearview mirror, economies rebound, and more people are traveling. Concurrently, businesses across the travel and tourism industry are working hard to recapture lost markets. As a result, total industry output increased 79% to $1.7 trillion in 2021, reaching 83% of output generated in 2019, and the number of jobs supported by travel increased by 1.9 million from 5.5 million in 2020 to 7.4 million in 2021. And there is still more work to do to fully recover and build back a better industry that is more sustainable and resilient to a shock like the pandemic. And this was our goal when the federal government came together to develop the 2022 National Travel and Tourism Strategy to bring a whole-of-government focus to increasing American jobs and growing the economy through travel, tourism, outdoor recreation, and support a more robust and sustainable industry moving forward. And as we approach the one-year anniversary of the National Travel and Tourism Strategy, released by Commerce Secretary Raimondo last June, I would like to spend just a few brief moments highlighting some of the progress we're making on implementing the strategy. I'm pleased to share that international visitation to the United States was 51 million in 2022, and we're on track to reach the goal of 90 million visitors, who we estimate will spend $279 billion annually by 2027, as set forth in the strategy. And briefly, the strategy includes 21 individual strategies under 4 pillars, but at the top line, it includes promoting the United States as a travel destination, facilitating travel to and within the United States, ensuring diverse, inclusive, and accessible tourism, and fostering resilient and sustainable travel and tourism. And Commerce and our federal partners from across the government are already acting on many of the 114 actions within the strategy and have made good progress in the first year of the strategy. So in summary, I know I just gave you a lot of data and a lot of more specific and in-the-weeds information, but at the top line, we will continue to work with our partners across government and the private sector to implement the strategy so that together we can restore travel and tourism to the economic engine it was prior to the pandemic and also create a more sustainable and resilient industry moving forward. Although National Travel and Tourism Week happens only once a year, it is critical, as we all know, for us to continuously tout the importance of travel and tourism to our country and to our economy and our communities across the United States, and especially right here in D.C. So thank you again so much for the opportunity to be with you today on, as Elliot said, my 4th day, and I look forward to seeing all of you again very soon. And I wish everyone a very happy National Travel and Tourism Week. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Brian. It's always good to get the federal response as to how important tourism is, and to know that Secretary Raimondo and the White House is really focusing on this industry is great for us. So as we're quickly coming to an end, we've got 2 amazing speakers that are going to share information with you. But I do want to, we talk a lot about leisure travel, but I would be remiss, Angie Gates would be looking at me cross-eyed if I didn't talk about the importance of conventions. Not only the large conventions that happen in the convention center, but as I see general managers and members of my board in the audience, those meetings that take place in individual hotels. There is a rebound associated with what's happening with conventions. We had 16 citywides last year, bringing 322,000 room nights. If you don't know what that means, ask someone in red, they'll tell you. And $245 million economic impact for the city. So not only is our strategy associated with going after the leisure traveler, but let's face it, a strong leisure destination lends itself to be a strong convention destination. We'll be focusing on all of our efforts with small meetings and large meetings as we see the rebound there. We're also, of course, for us, it's promoting D.C. as a whole. That means all 8 wards, all parts of the city, east of the river as well. I like calling it east of the river versus Wards 7 and 8 because they represent such a rich culture for D.C. as a destination. But there's so many opportunities in Washington to celebrate, especially for visitors. Now, most of you don't do these things until you have someone that's in town, and then you call me and say, well, can you get me tickets to stuff? The answer is no. No, just kidding. If you need me, let me know. But these are things that resonate with visitors, like Passport DC, which is ongoing right now. Only in Washington, D.C., do you have an opportunity to really go into embassies. When you go into an embassy, you're in that country. So as we look at the EU embassies opening their doors this weekend, you're being able to enjoy the culture of each of those countries over this weekend and throughout the month of May. Major League Soccer All-Star Week's coming up soon in July, so at Audi Field. So we're excited about that. And let's just face it, the DC Defenders, our XFL team, doing what they're doing this weekend in Arlington, against Arlington, not Virginia, but Arlington, Texas, as we go after winning that championship in San Antonio this Saturday. So tune in at 8 o'clock to watch our DC Defenders bring home a title and a championship for Washington, D.C. There's also the World Cultural Festival starting in September on the National Mall. And we're really working diligently with the mayor and other stakeholders as we focus on World Pride 2025 and the 250th anniversary of the United States in 2026, which is right around the corner. As we're in the downtown business improvement district, I would be remiss if I don't have my good friend and new-ish CEO, Jaron Price, come up and share with you some of the key things that are happening in the corridor that we're in now, the downtown business improvement district. So a huge round of applause for Jaron Price.
Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here, and I will tell you, as a brother of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, I have a red suit, and if you all come back to Franklin Park next year, I don't care if you wear the red or not, I'm going to rock my red suit next year. Good to see you all in the red here today. Really happy that you all are here. I just first of all want to thank members of the press, all of the folks who are part of DC's amazing tourism industry, the amazing team from Destination DC. Thank you all for being here and for all that you do. And we are so excited to be here for this travel rally. You all sure know how to put on a true party early in the morning. Thank you so much for making this so special today. I want to thank President and CEO of Destination DC, Elliot Ferguson, for all of his tremendous leadership and work to help enhance the tourism and vibrancy that really helps to drive not just DC's economy, but downtown DC as the economic engine of the city. So thank you, Elliot Ferguson. I also want to thank Jeff Freeman with the U.S. Travel Association for supporting this amazing gathering today as well. And especially grateful, again, that it's here in one of what the mayor called DC's Central Park. We like to call it one of downtown's crown jewels, the beautiful Franklin Park. Thank you all so much for being here with us today. As Elliot noted, I'm the president and CEO of the Downtown DC Business Improvement District. We're a place management organization, but we exist specifically to help enhance the vibrancy and economic viability of our downtown core, which, as you know, is incredibly important in this moment that we're in coming out of the pandemic. Now, a big piece of the importance of our economic engine is tourism and our visitors. And just a few fun facts for you about our downtown DC Business Improvement District. We actually have 37% of DC's hotel rooms right here in the heart of downtown in about 36 hotels. And of those 36 hotels, it generates 40% of the DC hotel revenue for the city. I love the big numbers we've been touting out today. That is also a big number. It's $785 million generated in just this small 1 square mile of downtown DC. So that means the hospitality sector is hot here in downtown, and we even have more hotels coming and lots of things for people to experience, from arts to culture to entertainment. And as the mayor talked about, festivals, activities, and events that are happening here in the heart of downtown DC. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention just a few of the things that we have going on here. Obviously, I want to thank Mayor Muriel Bowser. You know, I'd like to say I am the biggest cheerleader for downtown DC, but Mayor Bowser, you have truly been the biggest possible cheerleader for downtown. And I want to thank you for your continued leadership and for you really just centering the importance of downtown and what it means for the city's economy. And one of the things that the mayor's comeback plan calls for is to fill space, change space, and bring the people. tourism and hospitality is an incredible part of bringing people. And what we try to do here at the BID is support many different cultural events and activities, including things happening here in Franklin Park. And so I want to mention just some of the things that are happening in this beautiful 5-acre space throughout the summer. We have our weekly Can I Kick It series, which pairs action films with live mixed DJ soundtracks. That's every Thursday evening, starting Thursday, June 1st. Films begin at sunset, but you can arrive early. We'll have all kinds of activities, games, and things for you to enjoy, great music, and food for you to choose from many of our local downtown eateries. We also have our Downtown DC Live Concert Series, which is a 2-month weekly series of concerts during the lunch hour from 12:30 to 1:30. Some of the greatest talent here in the region comes out and offers free concerts here in Franklin Park. Please come join us throughout the summer. We have a number of different wellness activities. So if you're into yoga, different exercise, Zumba, all those types of things, please come see us here in Franklin Park for our wellness activities. And I'm excited to announce the weekend of July 28th to 30th, the Downtown DC BID will be debuting what we're calling Kids World, which is a weekend of fun, family-friendly, kid-centric activities and events. So you don't want to miss that. And as always, this September, we'll have our annual block party. And in October, we're bringing it back with our annual Rock the Park concert series, which draws thousands of people right here to Franklin Park every fall. So we're incredibly excited about that and looking forward to many things to come. Again, I just want to thank you all for being here today. Thank you for having us, and thank you for all the tremendous support from Destination DC and really helping to make our city shine. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Jaron. There are 11 business improvement districts in Washington. Jaron represents the largest, and of course for us, we promote DC as a whole. And we'll have a conversation about changing the colors next year to black and gold. This is very difficult for me. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, talk to someone else. We always appreciate being in all parts of the city. And as we closed out the travel rally, the mayor gave you some insight as to something unique that's coming to Washington that we are going to be able to celebrate as Washingtonians, but also promote as we focus on the global community coming into our destination. I don't know if you all know this, but DC has always been at the top of the list of one of the fittest cities in the United States, which is good. As a matter of fact, we're all going to do squats as we leave the park today. But health and wellness is now an industry where as people travel, and they want to make sure that that's a part of their visit. And as we're looking and studying trends as to how and why people travel, the mayor referenced Therm coming into Washington, D.C., the second location in the U.S., and opening a unique facility in Washington. So as we welcome our final speaker, Omar Toro-Vaca, Chief Development Officer, a huge round of applause as we have an opportunity to learn something about a unique experience that's coming to Washington.
Thank you, Elliot. Good morning on this beautiful day. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, DemPed, and Destination DC. My name is Omar Toro-Vaca, and I am Chief Development Officer of Therma US. I work with communities across the District of Columbia to understand how Therma can best serve the district, not only in terms of tourism and attractions, but creating meaningful jobs and connecting with existing wellness practices and cultures to provide a platform for growth and self-realization. To start, I want to introduce you to Therma. Therma is an urban oasis housed in extraordinary architecture and beautiful landscape that continues from our surroundings into the heart of our buildings. We're a city retreat that combines the health and well-being features of a spa with a next-generation water park. We offer world-class food and immersive arts and culture. Therma is also a new type of social infrastructure, providing a community setting for people of all ages to play, enhance their health, and relax. This is a place to visit with your family and your friends, whether you're in DC from out of town or live here. Therma will serve visitors and Washingtonian alike with a focus on individual well-being, the physical and mental health of individuals, community well-being, the social ties and shared experiences that bring together residents of a neighborhood, city, and region, and environmental well-being, the health, sustainability, and biodiversity of the planet upon which individual and community well-being depend. These principles allow us to build for sustained positive impact in the communities we serve. To put it plainly, Therma is absolutely committed to bringing good jobs and resources to the district at scale. Therma DC is projected to match the visitation rates of many of DC's most revered institutions, like the Smithsonian American Art Museum, the Kennedy Center, and the National Museum of American History and Culture, African American History and Culture. A Therma facility will bring 7,200 direct and induced construction jobs over a 2-year period, 700 to 800 permanent jobs, and an estimated $1.1 billion in DC tax flow over 25 years. In closing, as we focus on how we continue to generate broad economic impact by bringing visitors back to DC, Therma can serve as an engine for growth. As Mayor Bowser has said, DC's comeback is about unlocking the full potential of our people, our neighborhoods, and our businesses. We look forward to playing a big role in that comeback. And the first step is to cultivate meaningful, constructive relationships with DC's richest network of community stakeholders. We thank you, and we can't wait to begin.
Awesome. It's great when we have new developments in the city that we all have a chance to enjoy, and again, for us to promote. The first course of action for me is to never call it Therm again, but to call it Therma as it is known. So thank you for that information, Omar. We look forward to hearing more about the project that's coming into the city. So as we close, again, this is really about the excitement of the industry as a whole, the rebound of tourism for Washington, D.C. I have an amazing group of folks in which I report to called my board of directors. I'm going to ask if they're in the audience to just kind of raise their hands so you can see who they are. They're all over the place. They're real shy, but they were there a few minutes ago, so I know they're out there. I want to thank them for their support. I also want to thank the interim deputy mayor, Keith Anderson, and his team for their support in working with Destination DC, as well as other agencies within the DC government. Thanks to RSVP Catering for breakfast this morning, for Jason Dixon Photography for being out here. So if you haven't seen breakfast, please grab some food. Jason Dixon Photography, Monumental Sports, and the Destination DC events team for putting this event on. I would be remiss again if I don't recognize the members of the Destination DC team that are out there in red. So if you all would make some noise, raise those signs, let folks know that you're here. There are a couple of prizes in which we're going to be giving away before we leave today, and the names have been chosen just to make this much simpler. The prizes are 2 winners will receive Carmine's gift baskets and tickets to the opening night of Beetlejuice at the National Theater. Gotta love that. 4 tickets to a Nats game, 4 tickets to a Mystics game, 2 tickets to the opening event for Kitchen and Cocktails. Deborah Kelly Hill is in the front row here, an amazing new restaurant that's opening right along the side here of this amazing park. So thank you, as that restaurant opens in mid-June of this year. So make sure that you put that on your list of places to visit. I'm sure you all registered for the prizes, and so please make sure that you, as you hear your name called, we'll follow up with you afterwards. We're going to ask the speakers today to join us afterwards for a photo op. We got to do that. And as I recognize those winners of the prizes, Ryan Kroll, Sage Hospitality. Are you here, Ryan? Awesome. Robert Mo Rouse, Arlington Economic Development. I saw him earlier. There he is in the back. Danielle Flores. What's up with these economic development folks winning these prizes? Greater Washington Board of Trade. I see him over here. We'll take his prize. Thank you very much. And Denise Key with AC Hotel Downtown. There you go. Denise, awesome. Amy Hutchins, Smithsonian Institute, of American Art Museum that's also here. You all are the winners. There's nothing that we're going to give you right now, but if you go to the registration desk afterwards, we'll share with you how to claim those prizes. So, folks, as we close out to some amazing tunes and you all decide to do the electric slide or whatever happens with music, we want to say thank you all for your support. We thank you to the media for your support of our industry. Thank you to the mayor, of course, and city council for their support of what we do. We'll have an opportunity for questions after this and after we take pictures. I know last year I fumbled that. I see the person that looked at me cross-eyed last year. He's still looking at me cross-eyed. We'll do that after we take pictures, and we'll have a chance to talk to the media off camera. So with that, thank you all very much. It's good to see you all out here in red. We'll see you next year in black and gold. Have a great day.